doctors have told me that they're just giving me medication so they can make me comfortable so I can go ahead and die already.
What? What kind of doctors are these?
Most days, I don't even want to get up. I feel like I'm trapped in this body. I'm in a lot of pain. It's a nightmare that I want to wake up, but I can't.
Wow. When you have so much added weight, it can create changes and problems in other body parts. Some people think that if you have added weight, it just makes your joints hurt. But you can develop issues with infections under your skin folds. And as you can see, she has some lung issues potentially due to her excessive weight, causing her to be on oxygen.
I've gotten so big that I can't take care of myself anymore. It's just humiliating to have your family do everything for you like this. Some days I want to die so they don't have to take care of me anymore. All right, ready?
When you are as big as Laura is, there are a number of daily activities that you or I may take for granted that they cannot. Simple things like washing parts of your body, even wiping after you go to the bathroom can be very, very difficult for them. So I really hand it to her family that they help take care of her. The question is are they helping to help her lose weight and to improve her condition, however?
I have a big family and we all love to eat. And I just can't stop. Eating time. I want to change, but I'm scared that I won't make it. I know if I don't do something, I'm gonna die soon.
A few things to take away from what we're seeing here. The first thing is the types of foods that she's eating, at least here, are not foods that are good for keeping your weight at a healthy level. Foods like ice cream, which is dairy, not good for you, filled with sugar, also that can contribute very quickly to weight gain, plus the fried foods and the processed foods, which are so bad for you and can also cause your body to gain weight like this. And two questions that I would love to answer is, does she have a food addiction, and is she an emotional eater? Because these are two big things that you can often see in people who gain a lot of weight.
A lot of doctors have told me that they're just giving me medication so they can make me comfortable so I can go ahead and die already.
What? What kind of doctors are these? Give her medication to help her die already? She has some major issues, don't get me wrong, but why would somebody give up on her? As doctors, we're meant to help people get better, not help them to die.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sarden.
I'm Laura Pettis.
What seems to be your biggest challenge with your eating habit?
Sweets. I'll try to find anything sweet, like candy or a lot of cake.
So where do you get that cake? Who? You? You know, I never seen anybody that's overweight doesn't have enable people around them support them. It should be the opposite. They should tell you you shouldn't have that.
It's a tough position for somebody to be in when you've got a loved one who is so overweight, but they gain so much satisfaction and pleasure and joy from eating food. So you want your loved one to be happy, you want to bring joy to them, But what if that joy is literally killing them?
I need to live for my babies. I need to live for myself.
To do that, you're going to have to change your eating habit. Frequency of eating is going to be only 3 times. There'll be no snack in between the meal. No sweet. This is going to be your trial period. And I need you to lose 50 pounds over the next couple months. You think you can do that?
Yes, I will do it.
Okay.
Some tough love from Dr. Now. Essentially, he's telling her that if you don't lose 50 pounds, I'm not going to do the surgery on you. And this is super important because you may have heard stories of people who undergo gastric bypass surgery. They have bariatric surgery, they lose a bunch of weight, but then they gain it back. These operations are not foolproof. You can eat through these operations and gain your weight back if you haven't fundamentally changed your lifestyle and what you eat and how much you eat.
Joey's been really supportive. Sometimes I just want candy or cake, but he brings me good stuff now and not junk.
Oh, yeah. This is steamed chicken with vegetables, bell pepper, onion, and mushrooms. And it's very different than what I was eating.
No other doctor has given me this kind of hope. So whatever it takes, I'm willing to do it.
There is a fallacy that if you eat fat, you're going to get fat. And that actually is not necessarily true. Where people gain a lot of weight is not necessarily by eating too much fat, but it's by eating too much sugar. And so you hear about her talking about candy, about cakes. This is all sugar that causes you to gain weight. So the sugar will actually convert to fat in your body. So what you're seeing her eating here is a fairly low-carb diet. The carbs that she's eating are healthy carbs like vegetables combined with good protein and healthy fats. This is a recipe for weight loss. This episode is brought to you by my skincare line, Youn Beauty. Our products combine natural and organic ingredients with the latest in scientifically proven anti-aging components like vitamin C and retinol. So if you're looking for healthy and youthful skin without the unnecessary chemicals, this is the skincare line for you. Check them out at dryounonline.com and use the coupon code 20OFF to get $20 off your first order over $99. We'll put a link in the caption below. All right, back to the video.
We're at the doctor's office again to see if I qualify for surgery. Oh my gosh.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right, so you lost quite a bit of weight, so I'm going to approve you for surgery. We're going to schedule you as soon as possible.
This is an awesome accomplishment for her. She's lost over 50 pounds just by changing what she ate. And did you notice she doesn't have the oxygen anymore? So because she has dropped that weight, she's gotten healthier, she's been able to get rid of the oxygen, and she is breathing much better. Next step, surgery to really take that weight off.
Laura is having her gastric bypass today. This is a risky operation for a patient this size. And there are additional risk factors for Laura because of the respiratory condition. We have to be careful to make sure that surgery is not going to compromise her respiratory status and create some emergency situation.
Even though Dr. Now is performing this operation laparoscopically, so it's minimally invasive, it's still surgery, and there even is a risk of death. Now, the risk of death is less than 1%, but there are other risks when you operate on somebody this large. The first thing that comes to mind is a pulmonary embolism or blood clots. Those can go from the legs to the lungs, and especially in somebody like Laura, where she's had some lung issues in the past, it could be very, very dangerous.
This is not good. Laura has very large liver that could cover upper part of the stomach. She also has a very large spleen. That makes it very difficult to do gastric bypass.
A little anatomy lesson here. The liver is on the right, and it contains multiple lobes. The spleen is on the left, and in between is the stomach.
It looked like it's impossible to do a bypass. We have to convert to a sleeve gastrectomy.
If you don't have good access to the stomach, a gastric bypass is very difficult to perform because you have to do a couple of anastomoses, meaning you got to cut the stomach away from itself and you have to reattach it. And that can be a very difficult operation when you've got the liver and the spleen in your way. So what's the difference between a gastric bypass and a gastric sleeve? During a gastric sleeve, you don't do the rerouting of the stomach and the intestines, you just make the stomach smaller. You cut away a part of the stomach, making it look literally like a banana. Because you've got a smaller stomach, you eat less, but because you haven't rerouted the intestines, you don't lose weight quite as quickly, or maybe not quite as much.
This surgery will still help her, but not as much as a full bypass.
So how does somebody decide whether they should do a gastric bypass or a gastric sleeve? Well, it really depends on the doctor and the patient. A bypass does have a bit more of a complicated nature to it. You also have potential risk of nutrient deficiencies that you don't necessarily have with a gastric sleeve. For that reason, in my practice, I've seen more and more patients come in who've had gastric sleeves. It's kind of like the popular treatment today. But the question in the end, like the old gastric lap band that we really don't see much anymore, does that weight stay off like it would with a gastric bypass?
I'm trying to get my life back, but I still have cravings. I've been throwing up a lot because I'm eating more than my stomach can hold. And I didn't know it would be tough for me to know when to stop.
After a gastric sleeve and a gastric bypass, you are forced to change how much you eat and even what you eat. And one thing that can happen more in gastric bypass than in gastric sleeves is dumping syndrome. Dumping syndrome is a constellation of symptoms that some people can get when they eat too much, too fast, and especially if the food is too carb heavy after these operations. You can get cramping, you can get diarrhea, you can even get dizziness from this dumping syndrome for eating not the right foods after these operations.
I'm starting to do a lot more for myself. Today, you're gonna see Nana cooking. I want to become as self-sufficient as possible.
Nana, what are you doing?
I'm cooking vegetables.
This is so great to see because not only has she changed what she's eating and eating healthier foods that are going to help to sustain a healthy weight for her, very different than what we saw earlier in the program, but she's actually making it herself. And I think for some people that's a really big step for them because now they can take control of what goes into their mouth and they can actually get the credit for that weight loss.
I've worked so hard for a year. It will be really hard to find out I haven't done well again.
Wow, that was good.
I thought I made progress, but I didn't think it was going to be this much. I'm so happy about today. It's been so freeing and so liberating. Dealing with a lot of pain and bitterness that I had from my past, it feels like everything is starting to come together and that I'm going to make it.
I'm really excited to see what the future lies for her. Did you enjoy Laura's story? Well, if you did, check out this video for a gentleman who was actually much larger than Laura and see how his journey went to lose weight with Dr. Now. And remember, eat real food, use clean skincare, and always consider plastic surgery as a last resort.